Oh, hello. No problem. Aloha, me droogies. It is I, your humble narrator, on my way to work, bringing the little one into school. I've decided to start doing some vlogs again because I am tired of YouTube giving me crap about my audio music that I overlay with some of the videos. A bunch of times they've misidentified as either a totally wrong song or something they think that some third party owns or whatever. And their process for proving that either you own it or you can use it, their dispute resolution is sorely lacking. So because I don't want to endanger my account, and I don't want to have a problem with my newly monetized videos. I'm going to keep the music to a minimum and basically just overlay some audio. So here we are in traffic already at the north-south road, which means I may be late dropping my daughter off at school, and that'll get her a third tardy, and I won't get into what a bullshit system that is. Just take my word for it. It's just more revenue generation. This whole system is built to tax you. And speaking of that, I'm currently trying to move out of the country. I want to get away from the draconian taxes and unnecessary laws and all of the new wars, and as you can see, this is my morning, every morning, sitting in traffic, miles of cars and brake lights in front of me, and this is not how man was meant to live. This is not how I want to spend the rest of my life. I don't like sitting in traffic. I don't think anyone here particularly likes it. There might be one person, but these people, they think there's nothing they can do about it. They just have to live with it. Which is funny. I was watching the news this morning. I always watch the news a little bit while I'm eating my breakfast, and I noticed, and they give a traffic report, and they have traffic cameras all along these stretches of highway. So they tune into it and they show it, and it shows exactly what you see right now, just, an endless string of brake lights and cars. And at one point, the newsman who does the reporting on the traffic, he says something like, the traffic's really bad this morning. And his exact words were, just deal with it. He said, just deal with it, to me. And I felt like he was saying it to me. And, no, I'm not going to just deal with it. I don't just deal with things. If I don't like something, I change it. And, I change myself in some way. So that's my attitude. Like, I'm not going to just deal with this. I'm moving out of the country to a small island in the South Pacific where they only have one road going all the way around. They have no stoplights. They've got like one stop sign. There aren't any traffic jams. There are no draconian taxes. There's no property taxes there. By the way, I'm speaking of the Cook Islands, and more specifically, their main island, Rarotonga. They don't have property taxes. Property taxes are a joke. Why do I have to pay rent on land I already own? I have to pay rent to the government for land that I bought. So they don't have property taxes. They don't have excise taxes. They do have a VAT tax, but they've got state-sponsored health care. And there's no traffic jams. There's none of the stresses of everyday life in a modern metropolitan city. The island itself only has about 9,000 people on it. I think the entire country has about 15,000. I think they have 15 islands, something like that. And so it's very small. Everyone knows each other. And I'm planning on moving there, buying a house, and opening up a business. So first I have to sell my house here. Anyone wants to buy it, just let me know. I'll give you a good deal. 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-story, view of Diamond Head. And so yeah, I just one day after Fukushima exploded, I just decided to move somewhere that would be safer for my family. Because I don't know if you people are aware, but Fukushima is still happening. And when I say still happening, I mean still massive gouts of radiation spewing from the top of the damaged reactors. Each reactor is over 100 times worse than Chernobyl. That's each one. And there's 5 of them that are spewing radiation. Chernobyl doubled the background radiation in the northern hemisphere and caused over 1 million deaths to date. The attitude of the government after Fukushima is just to raise the acceptable level of radioactive isotopes in, food and milk and meat and all that sort of thing from 1,000 to 100,000 times. If you don't believe me, you can look it up online. I'm not exaggerating anything. And that's a lie in itself. There is no acceptable. There's no safe level of radiation. It's all bad for you. So after Fukushima, I decided that I had to get out of the northern hemisphere. How you doing, baby? You like that? All right. So what was I going to say? All right. Fukushima, yeah, they're all in meltdown. Okay, no matter what anyone says, the isotopes that were released after the plants got basically destroyed can be measured by scientists and some of them are only released during fission, and so that means that there was a meltdown. Now, sad for Japan, actually it's worse than a meltdown. It's what's called a melt-through. And at least one of them, I think it's number 4, I think, has melted through the containment vessel and into the ground, where it will contaminate the groundwater. And that means the death of Japan, basically, the entire country. Not that everybody will die, but in a few years when thousands of people are dropping dead, it's going to be too late. And the government's basically lying to everybody. They have a tremendous problem with radioactive sludge in their sewage treatment plants. And what they're doing is they're taking that sludge and they're mixing it with concrete, cement, and get into things like new roads and new buildings and houses. So roads and buildings and houses will all be irradiated, and people living in them will develop strange cancers and die. You know, the cows that are in Fukushima are being shuffled around the country. So you have, you know, these radiated cows that are then put into a herd of normal cows in the south, and, you know, that way they hope to disperse whatever problem there is. And this is all true. I'm not exaggerating anything. Feel free to Google it. Regardless of all of that, the situation in Japan, it hasn't stopped. When it occurred back in March, it was cold over there. The air temperature was much lower than in the plant. So the steam that was coming out, the radioactive gases that were coming out appeared as steam because when they hit the cold air, it condensed and you could see the white clouds. So that was very dramatic, you know. Now, as it got warmer, spring and summer, of course, you no longer see these plumes of gases coming off. And so you think everything's okay. But indeed, it's still coming off. It's just not, you know, visible to the naked eye. So the radiation is still raining down all over the Pacific, all over Hawaii, all over California, and it encircles the globe. The radiation encircled the globe in the first month after the disaster. So it continues, and we'll see in the winter. They'll say, oh, you know, it's back or something like that. There'll be some brief blurb on the news, and people don't pay attention to it because it's not something that kills you right away, like a bullet or an earthquake. It's something that kills you slowly, and humans are designed to react to an immediate threat. So it's very easy to soft kill them. So that all leads up to the fact that I need to get out of the northern hemisphere. The northern subtropical jet stream and the southern subtropical jet stream don't mix very much. So quite literally, the background radiation in the southern hemisphere is half what it is in the northern hemisphere. That's the point I'm getting to. So when Fukushima happened, I decided for the sake of my family to look for a different place to live in the southern hemisphere. I don't like Australia. I won't bother to get into all the reasons why. I just don't like the government. I don't like... I want to live somewhere where, you know, they speak English. You know, just around the globe really quickly in the southern hemisphere. I don't want to live in Malaysia. I don't want to live in India. I don't want to live anywhere in Africa. I don't want to live in South America. And I really don't want to leave Polynesia. I'm here already, and I like it. I like the people. I like the climate. And I also don't want to just go from sitting in traffic here to sitting in traffic in, Bolivia. That's not. I need to improve my situation in life if I'm going to make such a dramatic move. So, to me, my idea of improvement is less. Less reliance on technology, less automation, less, of this, endlessly of taillights, and more back to the basics, more back to how man was meant to live. I personally was meant to lounge on a gorgeous South Pacific beach, and enjoy my life. And I'm sure everybody was meant to do that, but how few of us can actually make that happen. And that's what I intend to do. I chose the Cook Islands out of all of the Southern Pacific Islands. I won't bother to get into all the reasons, but I don't like Samoa, I don't like Tonga, Fiji's too expensive, Tahiti is just, there's no culture left there. The Christmas Islands, I'm not really into that place. And I really like what I saw when I investigated the Cook Islands and Rarotonga. I also read a book a few years ago called An Island to Oneself by Thomas Neal. I think that's Neele, written back in the 50s about a person who was actually written by him. He voluntarily marooned himself on one of the smaller atolls of the Cook Islands. And he lived there for several years before leaving and then coming back and marooning himself again until he had to leave because he was dying of stomach cancer. But the book itself is it's short, it's rather dry reading, but if you can get over his writing style, you really get an idea of what it's like there, and that's what convinced me. That was years before. That was 2 years before Fukushima, but I still had daydreams about leaving this place and going there. When Fukushima happened, that was it. I was going to do whatever it takes. So that's where I am, folks. I'm applying for permanent resident status with the government. I'm, going through certain health checks. I've already been there. You can see a couple videos of my cruising around the island with my daughter on a little rented motorcycle. Gives you some idea of just how rural it is. Yes, I am being the side guy. I couldn't leave this baby. I'm going to sell my car. I'm going to sell everything, basically. Edit the cough out. I'm going to sell everything. And I'm going to ship the motorcycle and the sidecar there. Let's say goodbye to Hawaii. I love this place, but it's not the island paradise that I dreamed of. And I intend to spend the rest of my days on a quiet South Pacific island, separated from the world and all its troubles. So until next time, my friends, aloha nui loa, ahui ho.